Angel and I are in the Provincial Park, Herring Cove Provincial Park, to do a beach walk, and also for me to test out my brand new GoPro. If you've watched my videos some time ago, you realize I had a GoPro. That was a GoPro Hero 3 Black Edition. This one is GoPro Hero 5 Black Edition. My Hero 3 died. If anybody knows of any way that you can get one repaired, I couldn't find any place where you could get it repaired. Fully charged battery in it, and you turn it on and start taking a video, and 30 seconds later it shuts off. It's been doing that for several months. So I broke down and bought another camera, another GoPro. I'm testing this on different settings as I make this video. The current one, and until I tell you that it's changed, is the super wide angle. It's currently 10:45, and high tide was a few minutes past 8 this morning. Low tide is, I think, 12 minutes past 2 this afternoon. So the tide is on the way down, which either when it's on the way down or partially up is my favorite time to come out here and take her for a walk. Because if we have very high tides, like with the full moon or whatever, there's not much beach left to walk on at high tide. That's Grand Manan Island off in the distance there. The sun's sparkling on the water. A little bit of surf, but really for this area, this is a calm day. Angel explores all the time that we're out here. The new GoPro is waterproof without having to put it in a waterproof housing. Something like 30 feet or 30 meters, I'm not sure which, deep. Anyway, deeper than I'll ever be. I don't intend to go diving. I'm not waterproof, but I'm wearing boots so I can walk along in the surf here. Doesn't get much calmer than this on this side of the island. It's the area that's open to the mouth of the Bay of Fundy. And that goes up into the Gulf of Maine. That's where a lot of our weather comes from. Also, the Hero 5 has a built-in stabilizer, which is supposed to be good for when you're walking like I am. I'm sure there's still some bounce, but it levels out a lot of it. And I just switched from super wide to this is now wide angle. I'll have to go show you Angel. I walk on the beach, she walks in the beach grass up at the top of the dunes most of the time. She comes down and runs around on the beach, but there's things that have to be sniffed up here. What you doing, girl? What's my girl doing this morning? When we were out here yesterday, there were 2 ladies that had 3 big dogs with them. And Angel gets very excited. Nothing on a leash out here. She loves to go play with them. And one of the big dogs, a big male dog, I think it had been neutered, but it really was impressed with Angel. And before we left to come back home, or just before we separated from the other 3 dogs, it came over and actually gave her a little kiss on the cheek. It was so sweet. Come on. It's one of her favorite places to walk. The sand isn't terribly fine. It's a relatively coarse sand, but it gets between her toe pads on her hind leg, and that's the only thing that bothers her. She'll sit right down and start licking one of her paws to get the sand out from between her toes. It's a beautiful beach, and it's shared by two parks. The provincial park I'm in now, and off in the distance there you're in the Roosevelt International Park. I guess the beach is about a mile long. It's lovely sand at this end and large pebbles at the other end that have all been worn very round by the wave action. Every once in a while, I imagine you're getting lots of wind noise. Every once in a while, no matter where she is, she has to come on the run to check on me, make sure I'm okay. I've only had the camera for, well, less than 24 hours right now, and this is really the first videos I've taken with it. I've been busy reading the manual, which is, I printed rather than read it online. 96 pages. But I have a new printer. It does an amazing thing. It would have been a small manual, like 3 or 4 inches square or something like that. It put 2 pages on each piece of paper and printed it front and back. So I ended up with, I don't know how many pages, but a lot less than 96 anyway. And one of the things that you can do with this camera that really has me interested is nighttime photography, time-lapse nighttime photography. I've seen some beautiful pictures that people have done of the Milky Way, and we don't have, there are areas here on the island where we have absolutely no light pollution at night. Should be able to take some spectacular shots, but I'll have to wait until the current moon goes through its phases and disappears for a few nights. Hopefully there'll be some clear nights and we'll practice with it. This video is being made just prior to Easter in 2018, and Easter is this coming Sunday. So the Easter full moon, I think, is either Friday or Saturday, so it'll be very light out now. When I say Easter full moon, sometimes people don't know what I'm talking about. If you don't know how Easter is calculated, Easter is the first Sunday after vernal equinox, after the full moon. So vernal equinox, I think, was the 21st, and this Saturday, the 31st, I think, is the full moon. So Easter will be the very next day, April 1st this year. Here we come again. I'm due for another inspection here. Just make sure you're okay, Dad. This camera will pick it up. I don't have zoom on this one. You have to get the Hero 6 to get zoom, but there's a flight of some kind of ducks, black ducks, I think, by the looks of it. And I have just switched over to the medium angle of view. So what you're seeing now is what GoPro calls medium. I'll be interested to see this when I get back home to find out how bad the wind noise is. This one is supposed to have a much more sensitive microphone than any of the previous GoPros. She would love to go swimming, but I won't let her. I won't throw anything in the water. She won't go on her own unless I throw a stick or something for her to retrieve, but the water here doesn't change a great deal in temperature from summer to winter. I have a wonderful website that I will try to remember to put a link down below. Tides for Fishing, I think, .com. So the number written 4, you know, not F-O-U-R, but the number 4. Anyway, I'll try to remember to put that down below. I checked it just before I left home to find out where the tide is, but that site gives you so much information. At that time, the air temperature here was -2. It doesn't feel like it's a great deal warmer right now either. And the temperature of the water was 3 degrees Celsius. Even in the heat of summer, that water never gets up to 10 degrees. It's great sport here to watch the tourists on this beach in particular. The campground's just up around the corner there, and they come running down across the beach in their swimming suits and dive in, scream, and run back out. It is cold water year right round. don't know if she thinks the camera is something I might throw offshore for her or not. It is waterproof, and the thing I'm holding on to is a floaty handle, so if a wave should wash me away, the camera will survive and someone else can use it, I guess. My shadow is following me here. What it means, but GoPro calls this particular setting linear. We're now looking at a linear video, whatever that might mean. I'll have to get my 96-page booklet out and read up on it when I get back, I guess. This is the last of the settings. Now this one is called narrow. See if I can tell any difference between linear and narrow when I get back home. Lots of wind. Well, not really. This is a difficult day here for March, but we certainly get a lot more wind than this at times. But there's white caps off there that you can't pick up, and I'm sure way off on the horizon you can't pick it out, but the Grand Manan ferry boat has just come out of Black's Harbor, New Brunswick, and is going across here to North Head, Grand Manan. I don't think it would be too bad of a day on the ferry, but lately we've had some stormy days that I think I would have been kind of green on the Garberry. On back to super wide, I guess, for the rest of the video. We're coming up to the point where we turn and go back. This very interesting, huge piece of driftwood that has been here on the beach for a number of years. A severe storm put it up high enough above the tide line that, well, this winter the tide has gone up that high again with major storms, but it has not moved the tree. It isn't leaving. I have photographed it many times, put them on my Flickr account, different times of the year, I guess. Massive tree. I love the end here with the angel sniffing around there. The roots. People keep putting things in the roots. Stones in there. Somewhere yesterday there was a metal object that I don't see today. Someone didn't like that and removed it, I guess. I don't know quite what that's meant to be. This is interesting. That's a piece of wood that was cut down and cut to shape by beavers. A few years ago here, this beach was littered with it. I think somewhere a beaver dam was either destroyed intentionally or washed out in a storm and came down a stream or a river into the ocean, and a lot of it ended up here, but not much of it seen anymore. But somebody has put a piece here in the roots of this wonderful old tree. Sit on the tree for a rest. Angel always gets out. So this is where we turn around to go back, Dad. Awful good girl. They don't make dogs any better than my Angel. Once again, the wind, I'm sure, is creating lots of noise. Way over there where you see the snow is where we have to walk back to. A large area of snow is part of the golf course. I don't know if you can see the clubhouse, pick that out or not. It's gray shingled and it sort of blends in this time of year. We're almost back. Well, a bit of a way to go yet. Angel is leading the way on the way back home. She runs so much she tires herself right out. We didn't meet any doggies to play with, did we, dear? No, we had the beach all to ourselves today. Actually, this beach is never even crowded in summer. Out here in the summertime, if there's 20 people on the beach, that's a big day. But those are geese coming back from the winter. either Canada geese or brant. Canada geese, I would say. Well, we've almost made it back to where we started from. Angel's still ahead of me, making sure I'm still following her. Won't be much longer now, and all of those shelters will have the picnic tables back in them. Be able to have a picnic lunch with the walk, although once the park opens for the season, which is around the 24th of May, that long weekend anyway, we can't bring Angel back here again until it closes in the fall. It's a no dogs allowed beach, which makes sense. A lot of children play on this beach in the summertime. You wouldn't want them to be playing in a dog's bathroom, I guess. Those are some of the structures in the park. If you can make out that little green sort of thing with windows in, there's another one or two more over here, but they're really hidden. Well, I guess there's one up behind that picnic shelter that you can see. They're little cabin campers things that they built a number of years ago. I've never camped in one, but it intrigues me. Inside there are places to put your air mattress and sleeping bag, whatever. Good big space, nice and bright with a window. You have your own picnic table outside. You can come camping and you don't need to have a tent. Just bring all the sleeping bag and your food and whatever else you're going to use camping, but you don't require a tent. Something I might think about renting. Probably not here since I live here. But maybe Angel and I would enjoy that at another campground somewhere else. This little stream is tidal. Right now the tide is low, so it's draining out. It comes down from a lake, Lake Glen Severn. But when the tide is up, it fills in more. You can see with the melt line there in the snow. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I'm anxious to get home and see how my new GoPro works.